One thing about it, I'm always going to bring up one of Newton's laws in these words of wisdom. Every couple words of wisdom, you're going to hear Newton's law. Today, we're going to talk about Newton's third law of motion. Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your girl Pink Lee. Thanks for tapping in for Words of Wisdom. This week, we're going to talk about consequences. Yes, for every action, we have to understand that there are consequences. For everything we do, there is going to be a consequence, right? So I want to bring it to you in a different way. Newton's third law. Newton's third law states that for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. That's deep, y'all. I know that just seems a little whatever, but that's deep. I want y'all to really take that in and really get into this episode because we're going to talk about ways to apply it to our life, right? And this is the simplest way. When you do something, it comes back to you. Some people may call it karma. Some people, they call it different things. There's always a little name for it, but literally it's just what you do. Every action has a consequence. It's as simple as that. So if you steal from the store, you go to jail. Now you a thief. If you say mean things to people, now you ain't got no friends. It goes. Those are some very simple examples, but that's what it breaks down to. Think about when we jump, right? Even the physical action of jumping. When we jump, we got to realize that we're applying force to the ground, and the ground actually puts applies force back, equal and opposite force back, and it propels us upwards, and that's how we jump. So we're and the ground goes and we and that's literally how it works, right? So we have to understand that that applies directly to life. When we are in positions when we don't think about what we do, that's how we usually make mistakes. That's how we usually have actions that we're not very proud of because we don't think about what we do, right? That ties into loving yourself. That ties into becoming more aware of yourself, more sure of yourself, believing in yourself, all the things, right? It ties directly into that because we have to know that when we love ourselves and when we are sure of ourselves, we actually take the time to think about what comes out of our mouth, to think about our actions, to think about the things that we are portraying to the world and the people around us because it's very important. And why is it important? Because it's going to come back. For everything we do, there's a consequence. And that is also, it could be a positive or a negative thing. Don't always think of it as a negative thing because it could be positive too. If you're out spreading joy, spreading peace, spreading positivity, if you're just that light that shines, you know what I mean? You're going to get that back as well. There's consequences for that too, and they are amazing. It's just, it's just very important that we know what we're doing. It's very important that we acknowledge what we're doing. It's very important that we think before we act, right? It's so important. And I know that a lot of people don't think before they act, which is why, or speak, right? And this is something I struggle with too. Like sometimes I'll just blurt something out. I'm like, why'd I say that? Why'd I say that? It's because I didn't think about it because I'm still in my process too. I'm still learning too. I'm not perfect, just like y'all not perfect. That's why I say we are in this journey together. We need to start thinking about what we're saying, what we're doing before we do it because there is consequences. If you're not ready to face those consequences, then you need to be thinking about what you're doing before you do it. Think about some of the looters and the rioters, right? When they did all the looting and stealing and everything. We're based in Philadelphia, so we're talking about the looters that just got arrested and everything like that. Do you think that the ones who got caught, do you think that they were ready for those consequences? Y'all, do you think they were ready to sit in jail? Because I know that there was a Meatball, who's like a well-known figure on just Instagram. She and on the internet in general. She was like, she even said out her mouth, she was not prepared. She didn't like jail. She didn't like that. She was not prepared for the consequences of her actions. And so it's like that. You know what I mean? We need to be prepared for the consequences of our actions because if we are not, we have to understand that they are coming regardless. So we need to think about Newton's law daily. We need to think about Newton's law every time we go to say something that we know we maybe shouldn't say, we need to be thinking about Newton's law. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. And let me just break that down quickly. Not just a reaction, but an equal and opposite reaction. So it's going to match energy. And I'm not a big fan on matching energy unless it's positive. But you know what I mean? Even still, it's going to match it. It's going to be equal and it's going to be opposite. So it's going to come right back to you. I personally believe that everything happens for a reason, right? And sometimes we think that bad things in our life are happening because, oh, oh, we're just so cursed, or it's just us. No, sometimes it's because of some stuff you did way back when. Sometimes you still facing that consequence, regardless, because it may not come right away. That's what y'all think it comes like that. Sometimes it don't come right away. So you have to be aware of what you're saying. You have to be aware of what you're doing, and you have to be ready to accept the consequences, good or bad. Thanks so much for tapping in for Words of Wisdom with your girl Pink Lee. I'll see you guys next week.
Duh.